coil ones. I also have a couple geometry coils that need to be tested. I made a 3D print, and I used, I'll show you these right here, these little sticks that go in there instead of nails. So now when I do my 3D prints, I could put them in there and sandwich them with nylon bolts so that they don't go anywhere, so I can get the compression on the outside without losing the tension on the inside. So it's a different way to go, man. And I built several of them already, man. It's pretty cool. So
nice.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of work lately. And then I worked on my gravity flyer again, man. I've been doing all kinds of stuff with that. So yeah, it's coming along, man. I had to change in my gravity well device. I had to change the couplers because they were pulling energy to the motor, because the motor acts as a draw for the system. So it was ruining the energy in the center. So I had to switch it. So now that I did, it comes out in a little ball that goes in below and rotates just fine. So now it's taking that radiant field you get from the center of Tesla coil, because it goes straight through it, and it pulls out the field like this. Now I just got to put the static on the actual balls themselves, man. And then we're literally building plasmoid fields all throughout this thing. So I got a bunch of things in the running, but I told myself I'm not doing experiment after experiment. I'm going to do one video for all of it, and then do like the plasma channel did, and just get it all out at once.
Do at least a little short per video, or I guess cover them all in one big one, and then just edit them down into small little individuals.
No. I'm going to do 45 minutes in a video, man, and give it all to you at once, and then I'll do for the members. I'll break it all down in pieces if they want it to. But I figure the way my channel's going, in order to grow it a little more, man, I have to do it, one big thing at a time from start to finish, in order to get it right. And then just do the lives to promote it, and the little shorts to maybe give me a promotion to it. But that's kind of where I'm at, man. I'm closing in on 8,000 subscribers right now. So I'm getting up there.
Must be nice. Me there. I've been capped 9,500 for almost 3 years now. It's like they let me get up to 9,540 about a month ago, and now I'm back down to 5,490. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, I'm picking up 395 subscribers every month.
That's sweet.
And then I just started streaming to X. So
yeah, X is good for sure.
Yeah, I'm getting people pulling over from that too. So yeah, I'm working on it. Dude, I drove myself crazy on my channel about last week, and I was so frustrated. How do I get this thing out? Why is it stopping at this? I had to change some settings in there in order to get everything to go. I worked on my Patreon to get it up to speed and give it extra content. And dude, it's been just grinding.
It takes so much work. People don't understand the commitments of it all.
Yeah.
So I'll be right back in 1 minute.
Yeah. But one thing that is kind of weird also, like I was saying last week, the ambient energy that we're in is immense. But if we go at lower scale, at the atomic scale, I need to use a different energy density. It's like if the gravitational waves at the macro scale are ineffective at the nano scale. So it's like the energy density is kind of void. I mean, I think it's a wavelength thing. Maybe it's, I'm trying to picture it, but I don't know what it is. But I know the energy at a certain wavelength is not going to be effective at nano scales. So it's probably, I don't know, man. I'm trying to picture that out. But there's something there, something to look into. And it's hard to explain like that without showing some calculations. But anyway,
You need
one
it
day,
to work on the Planck scale, is what you're saying, and then it has to work on a bigger scale. Is
well,
that what
no,
you're looking at, or is it
no,
macro, micro? What do you?
yeah. Let me show it to you. It's easier if I show what I'm talking about here. Um, so you know the energy density we're in, the 1.2 times 10 to the 44 joules per meter. At the micro scale, that's what holds. That's what defines the perihelion precision, the light bending, and everything that we see in the solar system. We need that amount of energy density to observe all the phenomena we observe. But if we go at the nanoscale, at the atomic scale, and we look at the red curve here, I need to have a energy density that is much lower than 1.2 times 10 to the 44 joules per meter. I need to use um, I need to use one times 10 1 times 10 to the minus 3 joules per meter. So I need to use a energy density that is much lower than the macro scale. So that means, but I get the exact same forces. I get the correct forces if I use that energy density, but it's like the energy density at the macro scale is ineffective at the nano scale. So I'm trying to figure why. Um, but that's probably because the wavelength of the macro scale is ineffective at the nano scale. That's what I suspect. So um,
So you can measure to 10 to the third joules per this, but when it becomes 10 to the 44, that becomes like the subatomic scale, right? And so the equation doesn't make sense because it doesn't follow the laws of certain physics.
yeah, I double checked all the mathematics, and I really need to use a very huge amount of energy at the macro scale, but at the nano scale, at the atomic level, I need to use a much lower energy density to get the correct observations. So, um, so my point is my point is the energy. The macro scale energy density is ineffective at the nanoscale, but why? But it's probably a wavelength thing. Probably energy of a high wavelength or ineffective at the nanoscale. Maybe that's. I'm trying to figure that out. I don't know why, but if any one of you knows or can figure it out, just let me know. But that's really weird because I'm trying to figure why how we could cancel energy to create a potential. So I know you said temperature earlier, but I'm trying to see if there are alternatives as well. Um, maybe I don't know, man. It's weird. If anybody in the chat knows, just let me know. You don't need mathematics to understand what I'm just saying.
I have a question. Like, but we have givens, and givens are like I'm looking at something, and the givens are like in a proton. You know, either they're up, like two are up, one is down. So there is something that is a control already. With just the components of a proton, right? So if we know that energy, that it becomes a programmable. because we know exactly, what a proton is. We go deeper right here. It's like the quarks. The quarks,
Yeah.
there's just a bunch of variety. So it's going to be one of, those, right?
Yeah.
So it could still be somewhat on the smallest scale, computer wise be programmed. I don't, but I don't know if it could be physically measured, like, and with a detector or anything like that. But if the mathematics are, we follow the mathematics route with this, we can just anticipate where it could be. And then if it really is measured and it's two different things, then we know for sure that it does not abide by any, like, physics, like our physics that we have reached. It has just its own laws. I mean, that's how.
Yeah. Um,
You
yeah.
need pressure and compression. You need to force it to compress. That's what it comes down to. It's like when you go to create radiation, you're forcing the energy into a compact unit in order for it to burst out with energy, right?
Yeah.
That's how you get it. It has to work on the Planck scale as well as the physical scale and
Exactly.
everything else. So in order to do that, that's what you have to have. You have to have force compression.
Yeah. Um,
And
force compression. So how do you do that?
so like engineering like a heat pump essentially was a forced compression type. Was that one method?
Well, just layers in between a geometry coil is force compression. You're not giving it anywhere to go. You're pumping in the energy, but you're not giving it anywhere to go. So it has to stay there and continue to build. And it'll build in there and create a static field in between it. That's what the Rodin coil was doing with Michel's design and putting in that much voltage. He's literally creating static electricity out of it, which then will create your ionization of the air. You're forcing compression. That's really what it is. And it's taking a radiant field, which is a scalar field, which is in the center of it, and forcing the compression in the center of it so that it breaks out into a bigger field.
Yeah. And I remember also I was talking to Gerald about a spherical coil with a specific way on how to wrap the wires around the coil, but it could create a difference in energy pressure at the center of that spherical coil that you're gonna have a potential right there if you have a sufficient energy. But
Well, you can do it. Sean did a sphere Tesla coil, and it has compression in it, and it breaks out like the fields of the earth in what he does. So he's able to flip the center field of it. So that right there causes a massive amount of compression the way he winds it, because he winds it like an AC flyback. So each layer individually has multiple winds on it, and then he builds the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one. So it built like an AC transformer, right? But it's a Tesla coil. So then he resonates it, and it boom blows out the fields. As a matter of fact, I could probably send you a picture, Mike, of it or present.
Or would you be able to share it or not? It's private sort of thing.
No, dude, I shared it earlier today.
Yeah, you bring the picture up just right now, even if possible.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me
Amazing.
pull it up. There you go, right there. That's what Sean found, right? In his he calls it the Death Star Tesla coil.
okay.
And those are the field's compressions. It builds out just like the Earth.
But
So-
the wires are wrapped like following the
the axis.
The longitudinal way of the sphere, is that it? Like it's kind of the altitude of the Earth, like the
The blotch wall would be where the equator is.
Yeah, exactly.
That's your blotch wall. So, you're compressing this electrostatic field right to the blotch wall. It has nowhere else to go. That's where you get the mass compression of electrostatic potential. And that's where the field starts building up around it.
Okay.
So when he does this, he gets static electricity and he gets the high voltage plasma just like a Tesla coil does. He's getting both.
2 in 1.
And there's an AC transformer, you said, engineered into it. Amazing.
Oh, I could show you an operation if you want that.
Yeah, I think everyone would get something out of that.
This thing is wild, man. Let me see if it's this. I think this one's DC. Real quick, hold on. Yeah, this one right here. So let me go to it, pause it, and then.
Who think outside the box together for the crew to break the equations not bound to any rule, exposing to the world the universe is all view. Take the talent of the craftsman, it takes the mind of the fool to make the vision realize energy and matter in a duel. To a great, to a fool. The old man Bills was running through his head. Cheryl probably got it hiding under his bed. Penny up to Annie making power for days. Don't listen to a word that the straight no says. Mike building batteries that power a ship. Victor comes and talking math, that's the water spiral dip. Sean chucking possible to mile long. Sheila.
Anyway, you could see the energy coming out of this thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, huge power.
Dude, he showed you the fields on it, and it's like, it's awesome, bro.
Nice.
You get a ton of field compression out of this thing.
Now we're talking.
So you see all the wines in there.
Yeah. Okay.
That's so cool.
It's funny I asked you that question at the right time,
Yeah.
Synchronicities meant to be.
Yeah, Sean's building one of those for me and sending it to me, man. I
am jelly. I am very jelly. And it almost looks like a little nostalgia from Super Nintendo Super Bomberman, the video game, but it kind of looks like one of them old cartoon bombs with but a purple at you. Throw some plasma at you. Bam! Healing bomb.
Yeah, dude, it does look like that. But he's got other ones, man. He did the cone coils too. So he's got those. He's got a pyramid coil. He's got some wild designs, man. He did it with silver. So, yeah, he's got some awesome stuff, man. He presents it every Wednesday. So,
what I like to try to make is I've been playing with this graphene stuff. So I would like to print like a graphene coated, I guess, I would 3D print the coil and and airbrush the graphene on that print.
So yes, because then your nano layer, your outside nano layer is graphene. That's huge, Mike. You're bang on with that there.
You caught onto that right away. That's good. So that would be a really good experiment to try. My graphene's about ready to go. I got my airbrush kit and just going to get my printer going again. And I'm going to do some testing with that, hopefully this week.
I love it. So much work everyone has put in over the years, and it's all coming together now. And it's like reaching this exponential, just understanding with everyone's own projects and then the implications of it in everyone else's. And it's like the generational development. Yeah, where there's 5G or internet, there was 4G, 3G. It's communities getting into the 4G, and soon enough is going to have a 5th generation of everything, and that is when I believe portals and the plasma fields around will be open.
What I'd like to make, Bernie, is 3D print a coil, all right? And then after it's done, I spray the graphene on that coil, let it dry, and then put a very thin layer of sodium silicate on it. So now it's isolated, and then print another coil directly over top of it, okay? And do the same thing again. Spray the graphene on the print.
Key parts of each of those layers is that when you're printing or spraying each layer, you're going to want to have a directional small charge going through it so that it sets that nanomaterial in the directional charge. And you're probably going to want them alternating which way, maybe some horizontal, some vertical, maybe just back and forth, depending on how the field interactions are between them. But that's a key part of having that directional charge while it solidifies on the nanolayering.
Yeah, so basically what I'm trying to get to is creating a wire without a wire.
Oh no, you're doing a wire within a wire within a wire, but making it into a coil all at once.
But not using copper. There's going to be no copper in this. And I'm still going to create a field by using that nano layer of graphene. And if I put in like a piece of ferrite core in the middle, in theory, I should be able to create a field when I get a charge, because we all know power goes on the outside of the wire. It's not inside the wire. So if I'm using a very thin layer of graphene, that electrical charge is at a very, very thin, it's on the outside. There's nothing for it to actually penetrate. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't work the same way as
exponentially less resistance.
Exactly. And I would need a lot less power to do the same work. I hope.
We got you right there. It's in the mathematics, the equations of what you're building there. There's no doubt about it. That's excellent, Mike.
Yeah, just trying to create a wire without using a wire.
You want to do it in those plates we were talking about earlier, Mike?
Yeah.
In that UFO device we were talking about? What was the name of it again?
Oh, the Townsend Brown experiment?
Yes, Townsend Brown. So when you do that, create it in mesh layers.
Yeah.
Okay. Mesh layers hold in static electricity so much better than anything else. So, yeah, create that in mesh layers, and then you should be able to pull a charge on it. And then when it's still wet, push your layers together and then run the electricity to the plates. And just let it run so that you can get like an electric value out of it. And then pin them all the same way. I mean, just let the field go the way it's supposed to go and let it run. Dude, I bet you could pull a monster number out of there. Just make sure you put some stuff in there that's a high K value. Or what I like to say with those things, I use paper as a
separator.
It's non-conductive, but in static, it becomes semiconductive. And it's already meshed. So as you put that in parts of your layers, you're able to build the static field.
Right. But wouldn't the paper break down? Because
the paper, well, you can use any mesh you want. You know what I mean? Just make sure it's meshed like that. That was the whole point of the paper. It would be a non-conductor that becomes a semiconductor in that field because of static.
Or dielectric or something.
Yeah.
Interesting. Got so many ideas going through my head right now.
I just quickly gotta hop outside for a cigarette and hop on Jeremy Reese's stream for 2 minutes, and then I will be back. And I've got a very nice video to play of the Earth's magnetic free energy device that I was talking about earlier. There, it's the actual inventor. He just did an interview with the Professor Simon channel, and they just released it a couple hours ago. So I think we should watch just a little bit of that if that's all right.
Yeah, I was gonna watch that. I didn't get a chance.
Well, we
is
can
that
all
the
watch
English guy?
Scrutinize it and make it Free Energy Friday.
Yeah, the guy with the crazy hair.
Yeah, I like that guy.
He's got the Einstein hair.
Einstein Jr.
Einstein Jr.
It always looks like he's in that little bunker.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a cave he's in or something. It's really
Yeah.
good shape, eh?
Totally awesome.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty eccentric individual.
Yes. Well, he's English too, so it kind of like it jumps
Yeah.
out at you when he talks. I love it.
And he's missing half his teeth and everything. Yeah, it's really cool.
He fits right in. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's right.
awesome.
Fits right in. I love eccentrics like that, you know.
A mad scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much.
He's got some wild stories too. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, what I like about this 3D printing thing is now I have a means of making that print, you know, conductive now. Any shape my printer can do, now I have a means of making it actually conductive. And that just opens up a whole freaking,
Oh yeah.
right?
Right.
The graphene I'm making is awesome.
You just
Yeah,
case it with the graphite. Like
Yeah, I used to airbrush.
Like you dip it,
airbrush it on.
take it out, you know?
No, I airbrush it on. Make it into nano layer.
Okay.
I'm talking like under 5 nanometer. If I get it under 5 nanometer, holy cow. Like I can make my own pyramids. I can graphene a pyramid. You know, like I could just go crazy with that stuff. And it's not hard to make. That's the best part about it. All you need is a really good ultrasonic cleaner or the probe, and just hit it. And I found out actually a couple things about the mesh. I'm using a 600 mesh graphite. It only takes 2 hours to actually get it to what I want.
Really?
I thought it was going to take days.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's good.
Yeah, it actually turned out. I did an experiment, and I was hitting it for about 3 days I had on it, and my resistance started to increase. So I'm going, what the heck's going on? So I actually dug into that, and it turns out because I'm using 600 mesh, it's at a very, very small particle already. It takes very little time to exfoliate that graphene to the point where it's totally usable. So instead of days, now it's just in a couple of hours. I can have perfect graphene. So now if I were to go to a 325 mesh, it would take a lot longer. So the graphite you use to say like I use a pencil lead, right? I drop that in there. That would take several days to break down because it's hard. It's it's a full piece. But if you're using fine powder like I'm using, it takes very little time. So
yeah, can you see my screen?
hold on here. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to say earlier. Sorry, I got confused with longitude and latitudinal wires. I wanted to promote the latitudinal wiring of a sphere, because you should have like a very dense magnetic field at the exact center of that sphere, which would create a very dense energy potential. So that's sorry, I confused longitudinal with latitudinal, but I want to say latitudinal earlier on. So yeah, that's I saw the sphere. Obviously, the sphere Nathan just showed is very very effective, but I'm wondering if that one with latitudinal wiring would be more effective. So there's just a little thought here.
It's
Maybe,
interesting.
Yeah. So that's because I saw your buddy had longitudinal wiring, but I'm wondering if latitudinal ones would be. Well, it should be. You will have a very dense energy at the exact center of that sphere.
Mm-hmm.
So the temperature should be affected. Should get colder if there's more energy. So you could measure it with temperature. There's just an idea I had here.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm trying to think about how we would wind that. It's kind of a different shape altogether, like an apple or something,
Yeah.
Hmm.
But if you're using latitudinal wiring, then the energy is going to be focused at the center of that sphere. So yeah.
I'll ask him about it, see if he has any designs. Go ahead, Lulu.
You could make a huge styrofoam ball and then wrap the thing and then burn the center, and then you'll have the exoskeleton of the how you want it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Or you could 3D print it also, maybe, Mike. But I don't know. Can you 3D print spherical stuff like I just showed?
Yeah.
Mike?
Oh, sorry, I had my thing on pause, mute. What was that? Say that again.
Can you 3D print like spherical thing? The sphere I just showed using a 3D printer?
Yeah, it'll take a little while to do. I'll have to put some support material in there to hold it up.
All right, guys, I'm falling asleep and I gotta get up early in the morning, so I'm gonna take off.
Oh, so you took my spot now to fall asleep?
Yes, I did. I'm sorry. I'm falling asleep.
Right on, Ben. Have a great night, buddy.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks,
Good night.
Nathan, Mike,
Thanks.
Lulu, Phil, Bernie.
Cheers.
Good night, everybody in chat.
Yeah, I've been up since 4 a.m. myself. Kind of beat. I had the allergy attack and it was keeping me up, and then I had to put a full day of work in after that. But I'm doing it. Coffee. Good coffee.
Now, yeah.
There you go. I got to get me some of that right now as soon as we're done.
Yeah,
Keep
it's
going.
funny. I could have a coffee and go right to bed.
Yeah.
I think I'm insane.
No, it happens.
They look at me like, how do you do that? And I go, you just close your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a recliner in my garage, man. Sometimes it's coffee in the morning, back to the recliner to sleep.
All that coffee talk is making me hungry, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Coffee's weird. It wakes me up in the morning, and then I can have one late at night and just go right to bed. I don't know. Call me weird. I don't know.
What were you going to say, Lulu?
I forgot.
Brain fart like I usually
Wait a
have.
minute. Oh yeah, you become immune to coffee. Like it doesn't work anymore. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
You drink the whole thing, and
Your tolerance level is too high.
That's when you shock your system and have a couple of Red Bulls back to back.
Oh, give me a heart attack is what you're going to do.
Yeah. It's not good. Yeah, I've been drinking coffee for years, so it's just a way of life for me. I'm a real coffee connoisseur.
I could go through like 12 cans of Diet Coke in one day, and I could still put my head, like as if nothing.
How many cans?
I could. I didn't say I do. I said I could.
Oh,
yeah, I
wow.
could. But I didn't say, I do. Maybe like once the year might happen, but
Yeah,
But
sugar is my downfall. It's like crack. It's so hard to kick sugar.
No, it's diet. I don't touch the
Oh,
Yeah, but diet stuff uses artificial sugar, which is even worse for cancer and stuff like that. So you're better off with real sugar, I think.
Yeah. I went back to real sugar after a while. I was using a Splenda, and then I switched back, and it's like, yeah, my doctor said, you got to watch your sugar. You're going to get to that place you don't want to go. I'm like, all right. So it's like really, really hard. It's like,
They put soda cans in a barrel of water, and all the high fructose corn syrup sunk to the bottom, and all the rest of them floated to the top. All that artificial stuff, man, it's not good for
Yeah.
yeah, it is like crack. It is, yeah.
you. It reminds me, dude, that reminds me of the time Mike comes on my channel, and he goes, "Look, I got this big bag of white stuff," and he's showing it like a full like pound bag. He's like, "Look at this cool stuff I got." I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Can we say burn?
Oh, dude, that was hilarious.
Oh man, talk about a heat score.
He was doing stuff for his batteries, man, and showing it.
Oh yeah.
Didn't look like it. Oh, it cracks me up, man.
Excuse me.
Oh,
Good times. Oh man,
always an adventure.
I got stories for that. I could do all. Oh, I did get my light. I'm doing that solar project, so I actually got my LED lights in today. They're 6,000K. So
Nice.
they're actually grow lights. So just regular LEDs won't do it. You have to get full spectrum. So you have to be between, I believe it's 6 and 930 nanometer IR. So basically grow lights. That's what you want to use for the experiment. But they have to be 6,000K, a high lumens. Higher the better. So I got the two 100-watt solar panels. I'm going to do that rig up tomorrow, put the lights in between the two, and see what I get out of it. And if I could put that into my Renegade circuit or even try, an oscillator. I was even thinking maybe a Slayer's exciter circuit might work good too. So I want to kind of like Lloyd Stovell, the guy that was doing this, he's taking a lot of flack over it, and everybody's calling bullshit, basically on his thing. If it's running his house, and I don't think he would spend all that money on all that stuff if the system wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously what he's doing is working. So I want to try it out. Like that's what basically started my channel, many years ago. I saw something out there. I was skeptical, so I said, okay, I'm going to build it for myself and see if it works. And that was kind of the basis of my whole channel, prove or disprove kind of thing. So this is one of those experiments I want to see if it's true or not. So
Very
I'm
good.
going to build one. And kind of, know in my mind that, if it's real or not. And if anybody challenges me, I'm just going to say, you know what, man, I've built it. I know what it does. That's it. It's end of argument. You could try to debunk me, whatever. I don't care. The fact is, what I do is I build it for myself to know it's real. I want to know if this is real. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I work. The same thing with, like aliens. Okay, if I see an alien, I'm going to believe it's there. If it's there, I can see it. I know it's there. It's real. Same
Absolutely.
thing with my experiments. So it kind of helps with the credibility, right? So, yeah.
But yeah, because all you want is the answer. You don't care which way it is. You're going to do the experiment either way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
all.
non-bias, right?
Yeah.
If the proof is there, it's there.
Yeah.
Philip would like this one. Remember Jean Chrétien? Philip?
Which
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
Jacques Chrétien, our prime minister back in the early 90s.
Yeah.
He said he had an interview. He goes, "What is the proof? Is the proof is proof if the proof is proven?" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "What the hell did he just say?" I'm like, the proof is the proof is the proof is proven. I'm like, because he was accused of something. I can't remember what it was. This going back like 20 plus years ago, right? So, yeah, I laughed so hard when he said that. Oh, they might even still have that clip on YouTube. You might even be able to find it. Jacques Chrétien was like, who could I compare him to? An American president? I'm trying to think. No, not Donald Trump. I wouldn't say Trump. Oh, Bush. Bush Jr. He's our Bush Jr.
Yeah.
Oh my
Look
God.
at that. I'll show my screen. It's in French, but it's so funny that it's. There was a group called Sans Limite. They used to tease Jean Chrétien all the time.
Yeah. Oh, Jacques Chrétien was great.
No, but you cannot hear. You cannot hear my video, I guess.
No, can't hear
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, but I don't have speakers. I need to use my headphones. So, but it's so funny. It's like they used to tease Chrétien all the time.
it.
And, yeah, there was well, I gotta show you this. It's so hilarious. One sec. It's so it's let me yeah, this is it.
Is this Chrétien again, or?
Yeah, but I'll just show you the screen.
Okay. Oh, he was great.
Can you see that?
Yep. I can't hear it.
Man, was that guy the prime minister?
Yeah, he was the prime minister. Yeah, back in the
Wow.
early 90s. Oh, he was awesome. He was just totally off the rails.
Yeah, but he was getting teased all the time, and
Oh yeah.
and what I just showed you is like you know these shows where you gotta guess some word, and he's just guessing. Like, so he's just guessing sans dessin, which means I'm an idiot, you know, and he's just guessing that the right word, that he's an idiot at the show, so it's kind of funny. But he they were teasing him all the time.
Oh yeah, like on a couple of the comedy networks in Canada back in those days, they were just having a field day with oh my God.
Yeah.
It was great stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was our Bush.
Wow. It reminds me of Monty Python.
Yeah, Monty Python.
Yeah, it's what it looked like when you were showing the movie.
Either that or Benny Hill.
Oh yeah, Benny Hill.
Benny Hill.
Well, Benny Hill usually had some woman he was running after, didn't he? The whole time.
Yeah, all the time. And then the old bald guy that he was on there would be slapping his head.
Yeah.
Mr. Bean.
Oh, Mr. Bean. Yeah.
Yeah, he's too busy crashing exotic cars. You heard about Mr. Bean, eh? He's got a lead foot. He speeds like ridiculous with his cars.
Oh, yeah?
Oh really?
Oh, he's written off McLaren F1s and $1 million cars. He just smashes them.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Like because he can't drive, he doesn't know how to drive, or
No, he's a psychopath behind the wheel.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he's nuts.
So he's intentionally crashing.
I don't think he's intentionally crashing. I think he just drives really, really fast and doesn't care.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got a
Interesting.
lead foot, that guy. Yeah, he's got a reputation.
I like Don Knotts. when he did the apple dumpling gang.
Yeah.
Dude, that was so funny. Or even oh my god, Dwarf on Golf. Have you guys ever seen that?
I remember that. Yeah, that's Dwarf on Golf. Where did I hear that before?
Dude, he would like. Okay, so he put his legs in the ground so it looked like he was short, right?
Okay.
So he would show him swinging the
Right.
club, and it'd be normal. And then they go, let's watch that back in slow motion. So then bees would start flying around. He starts to hit the bees, and you know what I mean? Everything. And the caddy would always
Yeah.
screw stuff up and electrocute him. Dude,
Yeah.
it was one of the best skits ever.
Now I remember what you're talking about. Caddyshack comes to mind. Oh my god.
Oh, Caddyshack was funny. The first one, yeah.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah, that
With
was.
Rodney Dangerfield.
I seen him live.
Did you really?
Yeah, I saw him in 1989 at the O'Keefe Center in Toronto. That's when he put out his No Respect comedy album. And that night, guess who opened for him?
Who?
Jim Carrey.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep, Jim Carrey was his opening act. That was the first day I ever heard of this guy, Jim Carrey, was at his show.
Oh, dude, Bill Murray.
Bill
Okay.
Murray? Oh, God.
Dude, Caddyshack was so funny. The gopher, dude. He's trying
Yeah.
to get the gopher the whole time.
The gopher's always out.
He got dynamite everywhere, blowing
Yeah.
up the ground.
Yeah.
Oh.
Iconic movies.
Oh, dude, and the
Oh,
way he
Bill
talked,
Murray.
that whole thing was the best.
Which Bill Murray we talking about? The movie, the
From
zombie one?
Caddyshack.
Oh, Caddyshack. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Or what about the? Was it two?
Groundhog's Day.
No, there
We
was
did,
like some League Under the Sea one where it was like a parody of Jacques Cousteau, but it was Bill. That one was a
I
good
think
one.
I know what you're talking about. That sounds familiar.
And then the Zombieland one or whatever, where
I've never seen that.
Woody Harrelson like kills Bill Murray by accident, like in his house.
Stripes was a good one. Yeah, Eric in the chat, Stripes.
Oh, God. I'm forgetting all this stuff. This was all like 35, 40 years ago. Yeah.
Yes, Sasquatch. I've personally experienced Sasquatch in the Canadian wilderness twice, and
I've
it's
never seen one.
it's nothing to joke about in the wilderness, where they are the apex and they are the
Decider.
well, not just the deciders, but the inhabitants of that area, where it's like they have the population amongst it. And when you actually hear like the howl, scream, screech that they call to each other, and when like one calls and the other calls back from like one mountain range over, oh, I get the shivers right now just thinking about it, because it's like, oh,
Nice.
sorry, getting off topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what did he do when he saw you?
Okay, that I don't know. Should I go into that story today? I was in it. So the first time, I'll tell the first time. The first time it was with the Tsuut'ina Nations reserve. They were doing a rodeo just outside of Calgary in the foothills close to the Rocky Mountains, and I was there with one friend, and like all of a sudden, like these big boulders come rolling down the hill, and they're like Sasquatch, and like kind of laughing, like, they're trying to pull a fast one on us, Whitey. And it wasn't until I saw like the moms grabbing their children, like in sheer panic and fear, and like grabbing and like running to the cars and stuff. And then it was like you heard they're called the howls, and it was like a howl screech when they're close. And then the second time, it's more of a story, and that's when I encountered one where it was literally an inch away from me, and all that was separating was this very, very thin, flimsy metal between the old RV and the screen of the window 8 feet tall up where it was breathing, and the little curtain that had it closed, and that it was like I was so petrified. I wish I had I had my phone and I was like using the flashlight to try to scare it away instead of recording, but it's like in the moment it is so freaking terrifying. But I grabbed some cologne and sprayed it at the window, and the thing dropped and it rolled away. And in the morning, I went out, and sure enough, it was like this tall grass the day before. Like we were staying at a friend's place in a mountain town, and like it was waist high grass the whole way undisturbed. And sure enough, in the morning, you saw these big like steps of it pressed down coming from the tree line, and then right at the window there's like 8 foot of like flattened, like when you go and see like a deer where a deer laid sort of thing, and it's flat, like it's flattened like that. But this, you can see it was flattened all the way to this bush that I had heard it roll and like get up and leave. And it's so creepy. I guess I'm in so deep now. I should give the full context of the start of the story. So the dusk had just settled. It was like a small little camper that like fits on the back of like a pickup truck.
Yeah.
And we were probably, me and Amber were probably like the first people to stay in it in a couple of years. And it was on the opposite side of my friend's property, shout out Headley Man, and it was in Headley, BC, the big coastal mountains in British Columbia, Canada. But that his property was literally on the very edge of Headley, where it was probably like 6 acres backing on to the actual foot of the mountain going up, and that his house was on the very west side of the property, and that this camper was essentially pretty much on the very east. It was maybe 100 meters between where the camper was, separated by this tall grass, and where the tree line was. And that Craig Headley Man had just taken me and Amber there. We were about to settle down. Amber was in the camper, starting to like unload the sleeping bags, make the bed sort of thing. She's like, turns to me and she's like, "Bernie, cut it out." And I was sitting on the stairs at the very outside having a smoke, and I at the same time was experiencing what the F is that thing, like looking and growling at us from the tree line. And she's like, "That's not funny." And I'm like, "It's not me growling, that's something else." And just terrified to get into the camper, and I start like boarding up the door, and she's like, "Holy F, you stink today, like you need to take a shower." I'm like, "Honey, that's not me." And she's like, "I never smelled anything like you like that before." I'm like, "Yeah, Sasquatch are notoriously known for smelling like absolute
hell.
arse. Like it's like a mix of like rotting flesh with the worst BO you've ever smelt, with like forest, like mildew sort of thing, all in one." And so she's like, "That's not funny." I'm like, "I swear to God, there's something out there." And so we wait about like 10-15 minutes, and all of a sudden it was like at the very at the tree line of the mountain, like way up above, and it was right in the center of the mountain, that is let out this crazy, like I get the shivers every freaking time I remember it. It's just like this howl, screech, like call, and that we then heard like almost immediately a returning same howl, screech from like the mountain valley, like one over from where Headley was. And it was like they called back and forth a couple times, and then Amber like fell asleep. It took about another 10 minutes, and I was like on guard. I had gotten like some fireworks and was like, "What the hell is going on?" And sure enough, I hear this thing like approached this camper walking up, and it was right in like the little kitchen thing, and there's like a 1 foot by 1 foot like little mesh screen, and the thinnest, flimsiest like 40-year-old curtain ever. And I just hear like it braced, like you could I heard two hands or paws or whatever, but it was not a bear. And this thing was like 8 feet up where this window was, like it just boom, boom, and all of a sudden, like it was like sniffing into the window, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's right there!" And that's when I grabbed the cologne and sprayed it out the window and put like my flashlight at the same time, and I heard the thing drop and roll. And yeah, for the story of then in the morning of the flattened grass, and freaking terrifying.
Well,
Freaking terrifying.
Dude,
That's
that's
pretty
awesome.
dramatic.
This is
So-
Bigfoot, right? Were you talking about Bigfoot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bigfoot, Sasquatch, big, hairy, giant human-like thing potentially, but I never got a look at. Well, I did get the like they're smart enough. You just see the glowing eyes like peeking high up, like 7-8 feet, right next to a tree. But they always like make sure that you don't get like the full body of it, like they're hiding. And that I swear they're these things. One, they're nocturnal, and two, that they just like geckos can move like in very short distances, strike faster than the human eye can see. I swear these things like it's like a flash, like they'll you just see it like go between trees, sort of thing. It's very weird.
Yeah.
That's all I saw of it. I don't know.
So if it runs after you, you're pretty much dead. You can't outrun it. You know.
No. And what also led me to believe this and like understanding of it was there's a documentary, and I have not been able to find it for the life of me since it came out, I think in like 2008 or 9. It was done by the University of Alberta's like wildlife and anthropology department, which they're in Edmonton, but they went down right outside of Canmore, which is right next to Banff, which is really close to me where Calgary is, and that they had documented what they said was a family of 3 Sasquatch living in behind the Canmore Valley, the 3 sisters, like mountain, like glacial, whatever you'd call it, between up above in the straight back country. Anywho, they had videos where they set up all these cameras and they'd leave apples for the Sasquatch, and they said there was like a man, like a alpha male adult, and it was like off on its own, and then there was like an adolescent male, and like what they thought was like female of adult female or something with it, and it's like the two would come, and you just see like this freaking crazy swipe thing take these apples, and like it's like they just, it's so quick it doesn't register. So for anyone setting up like trail cameras, like serious Sasquatch Bigfoot investigators, you need to have the fastest shutter speed possible on your camera, and probably also infrared, because they seem to only really be active at night. But to tie the story all together, this group from University of Edmonton that put this documentary forward, they had literally gathered enough physical evidence over their study of like 3 years that they had petitioned Ottawa, like the capital of Canada, to officially recognize and put Sasquatch on the Canadian endangered species list.
Wow.
And this was all public, and since then I have not been able to find the video and not ever heard another word from the news about it. But yeah, if anyone has seen that, or
I didn't know it was flashing fast.
Well, and honest to God, Like, yeah, you get the creeps every fucking time. They recorded the same howl screeches of the freaking things, and it's like, man, they move really fast because you can hear like it coming like over a mountain, like back and forth, like the distances of how far it is, and then like when they call, like the next time when they've moved, it's like they get there. So it's until you experience it, I just sound like a crazy person. So I'm we'll move forward, and we should watch a little bit of this free energy generator interview before we go, because this individual, he's open sourced it. He wants everybody to build their own and be skeptical of it, and it's the perfect case study for, I believe, our community, for as many of us to try to replicate it as possible, as well as
Is it the pipe?
adaptations to them.
Is it the pipe?
I guess we're gonna find out here right
Oh, it
away.
is.
So this is the individual. Oh, stupid commercials. Stupid Canada. Stupid YouTube. My apologies. This is loading. No. There we no. Okay.
Really intrigued to know what led you in the 21st century to repeat an experiment that was brilliant but didn't
Shout
work.
out Mike Faraday.
Well, we have to understand that Faraday was groping almost in the dark, brilliantly groping. I think one of the greatest experimental scientists of all time. But he was figuring this.
So shout out Princeton and using the word groping, but we'll try to move past that.
Literally the first time with much of what he did. So he was asking questions that if they had been asked before, certainly hadn't been investigated. And he was aware that if you moved a circuit past a magnet, that you could generate electricity. And he was aware that the Earth had magnetism. So he thought, well, maybe I can construct a circuit, if it's big enough. And as the rotation of the Earth carries that circuit through the Earth's magnetic field, maybe I can generate electricity. He tried, but it doesn't work. And we understand very well now, centuries later, why that simple experiment couldn't possibly work.
Yeah. I know it's a fantastic experiment, brilliant, well done, well done, Faraday, for trying it. And let's just establish that we're sitting right now, both of us, on a spinning globe that at the equator rotates at over 1,000 miles an hour. You and I are about 41 degrees north of the equator, so we're about 800 plus miles.
Sorry, I'm pausing it there again, just for the controversy of the whole flat earth thing. If a whole bunch of people build these generators in different latitudes, and some do it up by the North and South Pole and some do it in the middle, we'll actually start getting some testable or calculable results that will give evidence one way or the other. Just saying, but that's getting off topic.
Miles an hour. So, and it's a giant ball, and it's a magnet. We have a North Pole and a South Pole. So the idea of using the Earth as a rotational device, if only we could have, a way of inducing that power. I mean, of course, you could imagine a giant copper grid, round the Earth, and then you'd have the Earth spinning round, inducing power in a copper grid.
I am also pausing. I have never heard Simon stutter like that. He is super stoked to be with this inventor, I guess. But let's see a little more and see where it goes. Hopefully, there's some gold coming up.
Great, but how on earth would something that rotates with the Earth, Faraday's piece of metal, why did he think it would work, and how did you get it to work?
Right. Well, we have to remember that while Faraday was brilliant, he had no math. He wasn't a mathematical physicist.
Mhm.
So he explored things with his experiments, and he didn't know whether it would work or not. And he was just trying to find out. In our case, it's easy to prove mathematically that the experiment he did can't work. Once you have 2 centuries of physics beyond where actually it's about a century worth, but by the time you get to Maxwell, it's clear that Faraday's experiment couldn't work. And that seems to settle it, right? It's impossible to do this. And what Kevin Hand and I realized, Kevin's at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, is my co-author on the original theory paper.
Right.
Kevin and I realized that there was a loophole in the proof that you write down that shows that it's impossible. That under very particular circumstances that involve topology and involve materials, it should be possible to violate that proof and actually generate at least a small amount of electricity.
Oh, right. So I'm very much in the Faraday camp, but like experimentalists build steam engines and things like that. So is it something to do with the north and south magnetic pole not being in line with the physical pole? Is that offset part of, could that be utilized? And also the magnetic field coming from Earth. So you're saying that the Earth's magnetic field is stationary and we're on the rocky bit are going round?
The part of the Earth's field that is axially symmetric is stationary, and we're moving through it at 350 miles per second. Yeah, 350 meters per second.
Yeah. 350 meters per second. We've got a generator, potentially. But I like it. But when Michael Faraday did his experiment, what did he use? I take it he used an iron rod.
Well, he tried. He did various experiments. I think the one we cite to in our paper is an experiment where he stretched a long wire, basically stretched a long circuit, and hoped that maybe that would generate electricity. But there's a problem with that approach. Suppose you used a rod. Suppose this is just, I don't care whether it's iron or not at this point. It's a conducting rod, say.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's moving with us at 350 meters per second through the Earth's background field, the magnetic field of the Earth. Actually, here in Princeton, the field's coming down this way, so I should tilt.
We'll talk about
make it perpendicular to the field. So it's moving through the field.
Right.
And that means there is a magnetic force which is proportional to the velocity we're moving times the strength of the magnetic field, and it's trying to push electrons this way. Let's see, V cross B.
Yeah.
Actually, it's trying to push electrons this way.
All right.
Okay. So, but then what happens is the electrons do move, but they move extremely rapidly. You can calculate the time scale for that, and for an object like this, it's a billionth of a second.
Right.
They spend redistributing themselves, and then once they redistribute, there are more electrons down this end than there are up at this end, and that causes an electric field that points in this direction that perfectly cancels the force from the motion through the magnetic field. And as soon as that happens, and that happens in a billionth of a second, it's game over. Nothing more happens.
There's no flow. There's no, you can't utilize that initial jump. It's gone.
Right. It's so short, it's useless. And you should think of the electrons in this tube as in this metallic cylinder is continually just redistributing themselves on this ridiculously short time scale to perfectly cancel the magnetic force inside, so nothing can happen. And that's why Faraday's experiments couldn't work. He did many other experiments that worked brilliantly, but this effort on his part couldn't possibly work.
Sure. So after reading your paper, Chris, it seems that material science comes into the next element of how this might work. Maybe the electrons can move slower. Is that part of it?
There are two things that are needed. And one is topology and one is materials.
What's topology?
Exactly. So this isn't a solid tube, it's a hollow tube.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Topology is the field of mathematics that describes, say, why this hollow tube is fundamentally different from a solid tube.
Okay.
I can't start with a solid tube, and unless I tear it or break it and then fuse it back together again, I can't turn it into a hollow tube.
Right.
I can't turn a sphere into a donut, not without tearing it. I can turn a sphere into an American football, right? Those are, in that sense, those are topologically identical.
Okay.
But if I want to turn it into a donut, I have to break it, right?
Mm.
So that's topology is a field of math that studies those differences.
Right.
And the first thing we realized was that if your conducting material has this kind of shape, that, and if it also has magnetic properties, you need those two things together.
Right.
That the electrons actually cannot redistribute themselves to cancel the magnetic force. You can prove that mathematically. They can't do it. It's still, I think, is just remarkable. It's remarkable to me that they're trying, but they can't do it. And that's a firm mathematical proof.
Pause. Did anyone want to put their thoughts in so far, and skip it ahead after that?
Well, this experiment's just like Wright's experiment when he was trying to create thunderstorms. Yeah, it's old school. This is typical old school stuff. 45 degrees, put it in the air, hollow tube.
Yep.
You're canceling out the transverse wave in order to get the scalar wave, and you're producing energy.
Right, but bam, right there. So finally, we have an actual, I guess, academic authority being like, "Oh, look, this stuff from 100 years ago might actually work." And well, let's see.
Oh, it actually gets better than that. A French guy, Vili, was able to create a cold current tube, and it's the same thing, but you don't have to put it at an angle. And it's exactly the same thing that they used in the gray tube.
Yeah.
So the gray tube works in the exact same way with the cold current tube. It has it inside of it, and you're field flipping between the scalar component, which is the radiant energy, and with the hot energy, which is the transverse energy. So, and scalar being the longitudinal. So that's what the gray tube is. This isn't new science. This is old science, and this is a very low budget version of it.
Very cool.
Proof demonstration.
Okay.
And for any reasonable metal, like this object, this is mu metal, but that means it's mostly on nickel and any reasonable metal at this sort of scale, laboratory scale, it has a huge magnetic Reynolds number, and there's no effect. So the only way to get an effect is to find a material that has a low magnetic Reynolds number. And as a practical matter, so we spent some time trying to figure out whether there was anything that was conducting but would have a low magnetic Reynolds number at a scale we could work with easily in the lab.
Right.
We're nanofabrication specialists. It's possible that you could do these experiments by fabricating really small objects, but we don't have that expertise.
Printing.
And it turns out there's something called manganese zinc ferrite.
Tubes. Oh, manganese zinc ferrite they're using. Wonder about the graphite.
You broke open your old transistor radio.
Ferrites are used in the cores of transformers. Yep.
Right. And antennas and a sheet plastic radio, because they have the same useful property.
Hey, Bernie, pause.
They have a lot of common applications.
Right.
As soon as he said antennas and radios, you should already realize he's in scalar. That's where they're pulling the energy from. So the guy that says he can run his car on the radio waves that's going on, he learned how to pull in scalar waves, the scalar energy, the field. That's what he did. This is what this whole thing is about.
Yeah,
it's why it has no magnetic field, because it's scalar. It's not built the same, man.
Different dimensional energy.
It's radiant. It's not magnetic. You're going to get a slight magnetic to it, and that's it. And that's only because there's a field right next to it pushing upon it. It's the same reason in space you have the same problem.
Interesting.
Okay,
They
so
keep, they keep calling it our magnetosphere, but there's no magnetism there. There's a slight bit that you would get from a static field, but not much. But it's really a radiant field in how it's protecting us and how the field actually slows things down and won't let them through the barrier.
appreciate the analysis, Nathan. This could get a little good. We'll see how far this guy has developed it. But I feel you're leagues ahead.
Yeah.
They're conductors. They're ceramics. They're not really metals. They're ceramics. They're conductors.
After good sign, he's going into the ceramic magnet composite.
The conductivity of seawater, which is about the same conductivity that you and I have, right? We're basically seawater.
Right.
So, and that's a conductivity that's 1,000,000 times lower than this object or copper or aluminum, say. And that's what gives us our low magnetic Reynolds number. And if you have that paired with this topology, we predict that you should generate electricity. But you have to have both those things. As you would imagine, we looked at a lot of different ferrites. Even most of the ferrites give you a large magnetic Reynolds number. So actually, you have to look pretty hard, and you have to have the right topology. But then, yeah,
Right.
Question, Nathan, what would happen if you start using one of these or some of these ceramic pull tubes in the center as like your ferrite cores to some of your Tesla coils and other coil systems?
Oh, dude, I'd immediately flip the field and turn it super hot. That's what it does.
It turns it super hot. And so is that heat coming out of your current that you're putting in, or is that heat coming out of the radiance field of energy?
So you're an air core transformer and a Tesla coil, and as soon as you put the core in there, you're going back to a traditional cord transformer. So what you're going to get is a lot more amperage in the field, and you're going to bring down the voltage. So if you wanted a usable volt, take that core right there, put it right in the center of a Tesla coil, and you start to get to a usable volt again. It's the difference between a air core and a DC flyback and the type of energy you're getting out of it.
Okay, these are key things right here. And like I said, these guys are literally fields ahead of the people that are supposedly leading the academic fields of this technology.
But then you also worked out you need to know where the flux of the Earth's magnetic field is in your hometown, where you're going to do the experiment. So the angle of the of how we move through the field, how it moved through the field is also important.
that's correct. And that's actually a good thing from the point of view of the theory and experimentally testing the theory, because we're scientists, and that means we test. We come up with an idea, but then we test it in the lab.
Right.
And our theory predicts that if the object's oriented this way, it'll produce our current or produce our voltage. Take your pick how you want to characterize it.
Right.
Let me label one end of this object. Let me put a little pink label here at the top, so we know what I'm talking about. Okay. So here where I am in Princeton, the magnetic field of the Earth is coming down this way. Here's the object. At this orientation, the object's going to produce small voltages, minus 18 microvolts.
Yeah.
If I rotate the object this way, and we build a turntable so that our we measure both temperatures and voltages. We have 3 voltmeters connected to this thing, measuring those.
Yeah.
They're all on the turntable. The whole thing rotates together. Okay, so nothing changes except the orientation relative to the Earth's rotation. And here in Princeton, where I'm oriented the way I'm talking to you, we're moving that way.
Right.
We're rotating that way.
Right.
So if I
Do you want me to pause that or no?
So Bernie, he said find the magnetic field. So find the ley line that you're next to, and then go put it at the angle, and you'll have energy. Well, no duh. We haven't figured that one out yet. You know, let me go over here in California, Big Rock, okay, over by the Integratron, and let me just lay my pipe, and I get a ton of energy. I mean, is it really that difficult if you understand the physics of the Earth?
But the majority of people do not. Thus, that's why we need
They've
you.
been watching our show, so they're coming up with these ideas.
By the way, dude, just go pound a copper rod in the ground, throw a testicle right over top of it, and you guess what? You're going to get more energy than he gets out of this pipe. And that's just from the grounding. Because the testicle is a pump in the way it's wound because of the ring it creates. Now the grounding's in it, you're going to pull the energy straight out of it without even a circuit attached. You could do the same thing in the air with an antenna. I mean, just put your antenna high enough and you're going to pull the energy right out of the air.
Find the energy corridor. Wow.
Yeah, that's all you have to do. You just have to know where to look.
If I rotate the object to be parallel to our direction of rotation, the voltage should go to 0.
After this, we're going to
reproduces error.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll skip it ahead here towards the end where he shows what his actual device is.
Mike says, look in the hole.
Oh my God.
I love that. I love that. Mike, you got true class, poise, and humor with that one. We need more Star Trek episodes.
Yeah. Return of the Hole.
Yes, this needs to be clipped. Star Trek, Return of the Hole. It's coming back. The Faraday cycle.
The search for Spock, Return of the Hole.
Return of the Hole. Cheers.
But if you can find a manufacturer that's producing them,
right?
Yeah. However, having said that, though, at the scale we're doing it, these are microvolts we're producing.
Sure.
Your typical
free energy device is like the most minuscule of microvolts coming out. What are you saying?
voltmeter is not going to be measuring microvolts for you.
Right. You need a piece of kit that can measure microvolts. Right.
You need a very different, a typical good voltmeter maybe measures down to millivolts.
Yeah.
And then you need a whole different level, a sort of laboratory level.
Oh my God. You have to get a worse voltmeter. You have to find
Here's another one. Whole strikes back.
You had to pay more to get a crappier voltmeter to read this. That's
Princeton's finest, baby. Princeton's finest.
Oh,
the next hurdle, and that comes with some expense.
Okay, yeah, but
he does realize we made a Corona motor already, right? I mean, we literally can just pull it right out of the air. Oh man! By the way, the pyramid
here's the look of yes. So I am gatekeeping this information and don't look outside of my channel. Look right there,
dude. I swear to God, give me a physics degree and I'd set their world on fire. It would be like, oh my God, how did you get all this energy? We didn't even have to get the special voltmeter for it.
Very much for talking to me on my humble YouTube channel. Viewers, you can do the experiment at home. Chris is very keen to get people from the equator to the North and the South Pole to do it and see if the effect works. And what was the angle that they have to put the ferrite bar to actually produce an effect? If you want to do this at home, there's a couple of things you need to know. First of all, you need to get hold of a ferrite rod. They're pretty easy on eBay and Amazon to buy. Or stick together a number of chokes, which are already.
You need a really shitty voltmeter that measures the smallest amount of microvolts. And yes, you are not going to power even an LED with. You might power an LED, but probably not. Or what are we looking at here?
You're going to need a lot of planning to lay this pipe, man.
Hey, you know how sad this is? I could get more power out of a crystal radio set than that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so this is clearly, we are debunking. This is Princeton trying to misdirect of, free energy is real, but you can only get microvolts out of it. And you should go do that right now.
Hey,
You can resonate your butt cheeks for more voltage than that.
That's right. I got fart more electrons.
And that is why Simon somehow has like hundreds of thousands, because the algorithms are like, hey, we're going to promote this gatekeeper.
You know you get voltage more out of an earth battery?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, literally.
My crystal cell set is like a nuclear reactor compared to this.
It's off the charts.
It is.
Right? Oh my God.
Go bury some alum out there and get, what is it, some ferrite, Mike? And we'll create something that's way better for cheaper. It's cheaper than the pipe he has.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All you need is alum, graphite, and magnesium. That's it. You're done.
By the way, the pyramids themselves at a certain angle, Bernie, for a reason, because they're able to pull the scalar energy right out of the air and create a very small vortex over top of them. So you could literally put this pipe on top of the pyramid and do way better.
Yeah.
So this says it all. What is Simon's tagged video? Boop, 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 boop. All right, so I think we understand the gist of Professor Simon. Shout out to Jack Sarfati.
Dude, I like his work, though. I mean, dude, credit in all the world to have him on there. It's just for people who build this stuff, we already know there's way more energy than that, than just laying your pipe, dude.
If this is the best that Princeton can put out, we're in trouble.
Princeton needs to pay me a check, and then I'll come over and do it for him.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Can you imagine that, Mike? We get in there and we start redoing all their experiments, and they make real voltage that actually gets something done for once.
Yeah, exactly. I show my crystal cell. And
for the love of God, please do. So, like, they can all be fired, and you guys can finally be funded.
Oh, by the way, talking about funding, I've been putting pressure to the NRC, the National Research Center of Canada, pressure so they fund my anti-gravity experiment. I pressured them like every year of the last 10 years. Originally, they ignore me. They completely ignore me. Now I finally got a hold of somebody, and now they finally refer me to some place. They might fund and stuff like that. Man, it took me 10 years to get to that point, and I had reports. If you go on what they fund already, they fund things like swimsuit for transgender, and they also found like $20 million for beans for eco like friendly beans in Africa. $20 million for eco-friendly beans in Africa. I'll send you the video, man. It's a real joke.
Oh my God!
Just tell them your anti-gravity is transgender. Tell them the anti-gravity is going to lift them up.
Yeah,
and then should be all right.
We want to
get all the funding in the world.
Transition the dimensional something fields funding like that. Is that what we're supposed to do? I don't know.
And it's crazy. They fund like swimsuit for transgenders, and it's like, what the fuck, man?
Tuck it. You gotta tuck it. You go to Target and get your tuckets. And
oh my Lord God! Man.
I
You
gotta
get
play
funded
one
for that
more.
one right away. Oh, you
I
need
gotta
some
play 1
funding.
minute of Professor Simon's previous video where he's so freaking hyped. He's like, man, free energy is so real. Anybody trying to debunk this like it's real? We got the experiments. And it's like, for freaking microvolts, like that is where you're at. Like, my God.
I can urinate more.
You might get more out of it too.
Yeah.
With the crystals. Oh man.
Insane.
Wow. Okay, my mind is fried.
Hey Phil, show up in a dress and a nice wig, man, and tell them that you need funding. They'll give it to you.
Felita. Oh, so I'm gonna have to apply as Bernadette.
There you go.
Bernadette.
Bernadette the Alchemist needs some money
The
for
transgender alchemist.
we're gonna transmutate something. Oh God. Yay, Clown World.
Freaky
Yay.
Fridays with Mike Faraday.
He
All
did his
right.
experiments by putting electrodes in his butt.
All right, so listen to this. Like, this is just so freaking ridiculous how this Professor Simon. All right, anyone called Professor at this point, they're not really too onto the actual field and understanding what they're professors in. And wow, look at this.
Today, the 3rd of April, 2025, is going to be one of the most important days in your and humanity's history.
Oh
Today,
my
I'm
God,
going
the
to
most important days in human history, we got microvolts. Like what?
I think next
My
week
God.
my background is going to be a giant rainbow.
Yeah, yes, right. But the joke will be the punny play is that it'll be like Isaac Newton separating the light through a prism, and that the rest of society is caught in a prison of their mind, and you need the prism of a rainbow to be happy.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you what. We'll take Mike's cell, okay, the ones he just made, and then we'll go ahead and put it to my Tesla coil. We'll put it in the mud, and we'll make it conductive, and I'll get way more than microvolts out of it.
Yeah.
And we'll just start lighting up everything in the room. We won't even need any more energy. We won't use the wall plug, nothing.
All I have to do is stare at it really hard, and it'll put out more power. Jesus. Oh my God.
Like this guy does kind of look like the sort of guy that stares at goats or cows or something.
Do you feel like there's an electrostatic field that is making his hair kind of poof up like that? No.
If he was a real engineer, yes, but no, I think that is just hair gel so he can try to look like Tesla and Einstein, but not.
Yeah,
by the way, Bernie, all you have to do is put salt and water, and it literally will create more energy than this.
Yeah, stick a piece of zinc and copper in a freaking potato. Holy man.
Right, so I'm going to play just a little bit more because this is what I had seen yesterday, and we watched the new one, the interview live that I had not seen, and just get the contrast of if this is supposedly the best that the world has, at least in control of our development and our education.
Hey, Bernie, you do realize that Mike's right. All you need to do is put your multimeter into a potato, and you've already won.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're right. You're actually holy F, they teach this in grade 3 freaking chemistry science class, not even chemistry at that point.
Your potato has more power than this.
So true. It's half a volt coming out of a freaking potato.
I could eat a can of beans.
To divide.
So listen to this guy. Wow, we're
that produces free electricity. And it's not a scam.
free
It's not an April Fool. It
It's
actually
not
works.
April Fool's.
It's been
No, that ain't
invented
April Fool's.
by a physicist in Princeton University, and it's based on an invention by Michael Faraday from 1852, but was then dismissed and then ignored by the physics community for over 175 years. How to generate free electricity from the rotation of the Earth. Hey, everybody, welcome to a brave new
We're
world.
not going to tell you how much and that it's not enough to power a single goddamn thing. Like, what? Like, it's the single greatest day in human history, April 3rd, where we got free energy from the magnetosphere.
You know, okay, you know you can debunk it when you just plug it into a potato and say, "I'm done, I win." Right?
Yeah,
that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
This is the best that, for instance, I think next Friday we're gonna need you guys to do a demonstration of like something exponentially stronger, and I will get the potato and I'll be like, "Look, we've got potato power free energy." And it actually powers an LED light. You like, I
need to get me one of those crappy meters that probably cost a lot more, so I can measure my microvolts, and I'll lay some pipe out front. Maybe I should do it in the backyard.
Talking about laying ground pipe, like you could probably pull more energy off of like oil pipelines or even water pipelines in the ground.
Anything that's in the ground would pull more energy than this.
It's a nuclear reactor.
How much is a Princeton's physics or engineering degree these days going for?
It's like the minimum $40,000 a year US, you know?
Yeah.
3 years, so at least $120,000. So your hair can be frizzy and you can pull microvolts out of your tinfoil oils.
I think they're getting ripped off right now.
Oh yeah, dude! Look, I told you the copper pipe in the ground. Just throw a Tesla coil over it, and you'll pull more energy than this, dude. We already have the experiment. You didn't even have to turn on any circuits. There is no circuits to it. It's literally just a number 2 coil over a pipe, and you get more energy because Earth has energy in it. And you don't even got to be on a ley line. That's what's great about it. Yep. No special lines, no special altitudes.
And meanwhile, we're going to have Harvard reproduce this next week and get like 17 microvolt. Like what? Like, God.
Georgia Tech, MIT. Yeah, they might get 1 volt.
No. They right. You first you micro, then you got to go to milli, right? You got to get up and up. Like, oh man, just
wow. Science is the best. All right, guys.
Absolutely. I'm gonna leave it on the note of this guy just realized that there's a thing called free energy and thinks the Earth is forever changed because they pulled a microvolt. Yay.
Wow.
Love you guys.
Wow.
Thanks for having me on, Mike.
Yep.
Thanks everyone for joining.
Oh, it's so fun, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, we went overboard tonight. That's okay. I got stink eye again. I've been up since 4 a.m. yesterday, so I'm a little tired. Yeah.
I too have pulled the 48-hour-ish from overworking and need to get to bed. So love y'all and thanks for having me.
Yep.
Nathan, send me an email there and let's do that stream with Joe and what you're talking about earlier. And
oh yeah, let's do that. That's gonna be fun, man. You'll like it.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Chat, you were great tonight. We go live to air again next Friday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. Don't forget to check out Nathan's channel, BurnEye's channel. Philip, you have your channel as well. And thanks to the whole panel. Oh, and Ben, he had to leave a little early because he had to work. That's all right. Check out Benefactor as well. And we'll see everybody next week.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Take care. Cheers.
Yeah.